A lot of moving parts, as usually is the case with the O's. Let's go to Wrigley Field and welcome in our colleague Ubaldo Encina, the beat writer for the Baltimore Sun. Okay, so Miguel comes back from the minors today, a roster move, and to me it's a bit of a surprise. All of a sudden now the O's are saying, okay, we're okay with a short bench.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what we're going to do here is, of Cord Phelps, they designated him for assignment, taking away a guy who really has a lot of flexibility defensively. He could play all four out infield positions and both corner spots. So they designated him for assignment to make room for Miguel here. And, he has a prior outright, so he really has the ability to refuse an outright to the minors if he does clear waivers. Now, it's not guaranteed he would clear waivers. Another team can really just go out there and pick him up right now. So you're risking losing him, but at this late in the year, 40-man spots are pretty tight to come by right now for a lot of teams. So the hope is that they keep Phelps in the organization. That maybe he does come up when the rosters expand at the beginning of next month, or that he goes down to Sarasota with a group of guys who go down there and stay warm and keep working out in case there is a need when a need might arise with rosters expanded next month and maybe for a postseason push.
All right, now with Miguel back, he goes in the rotation, so he's the fifth starter, I guess. And Ubaldo Jimenez, who pitched in relief yesterday, perfect spot after the rain delay. It was almost like the Orioles actually had two starters yesterday. But what about Ubaldo moving forward, at least in the short term?
Yeah, I mean, the one good thing about the situation yesterday with Ubaldo is that because of the long delay, he really got to utilize, it was basically like a start. He got to go out there 30 minutes before the game. He got to go through the normal, warm up and everything that a starter would go through. So, this is the first time he pitched in relief since his major league debut in September 2006. So, this isn't going to be an easy adjustment for him to get back to going to the bullpen. But this was kind of a really good kind of adjustment for him. He pitched well, the 4 innings, 75 pitches. The pitch count was high, which is kind of something that's plagued him over the course of the year. He had a 4-pitch walk that turned into a run in his last inning. His first 3 innings, he pitched really well, though. So talking to Ubaldo today, he said, he really looked at it as kind of a step forward. He's really still getting adjusted to the whole idea of being in the bullpen. You can tell from talking to him, but definitely kind of a step in the right direction as the Orioles really are trying to figure out if Ubaldo can really help them in the pen, or maybe as a spot starter down the line, as this season really winds down and everything's getting tight.
All right, so yesterday it was confirmed that Manny Machado is going to have the knee surgery, season-ending surgery, and this really came as a shock. I mean, we were all at Manny's press conference following the injury at Camden Yards, and Manny talked about, let me rest it, let me rehab it, let me get back sooner than later. I want to help this team get to the playoffs. I want to play in the postseason. And then all of a sudden yesterday he decides I have to have the surgery. Now, what about his teammates? Were they at all surprised that Manny decided at this time to have this done?
Yeah, I think everyone in the Orioles clubhouse was a little shocked by it. I mean, I think it was pretty sudden. I think that Manny had maybe kept it a little bit close to the vest, but I think when talking to him yesterday, he said that he knew from the time he had the MRI that it was a partial tear and that there was a possibility to have season-ending surgery. But he stayed with the team. He tried to get everything, do everything to kind of rest that knee and make sure that maybe he could come back and help the team at some point this year. But I mean, I think they really kind of just reached a point where they had to make a decision. They had to make a decision now to really ensure that he would be back in time for spring training. I think that's where kind of the surprise was, that it was really kind of a sudden mark. Chris Davis talked about it, and he said that we had kind of expected him to be back at some point, and you hear that he's not going to be, and it is really a surprise. But I think in the long run that Manny really wanted to get these knee injuries, which have been plaguing him, resolved right now and for good, and also just to ensure that he would be able to be healthy for spring training, because spring training is so important. He missed a lot of it last year. He didn't have a real spring training like a lot of other guys, and that's a lot more important than maybe a lot of people might think. But I think that's really where the suddenness of this whole thing came about, is that they really kind of looked at the calendar and said, okay, if we want to get ready by then, we're going to have to make a decision, and that decision was to have surgery.
All right, Ed, and please remember to tip your Wrigley Field organist. It was lovely for them to provide the lovely music behind your segment here. I think I heard about half of what you said, but really good stuff. We appreciate the visit.
Thank you.